So let's assume that we have to do a data validation cleanup. The first thing we want to do, for whatever reason, someone says we have to remove data validation from all cells. So these cells, you can click and see that there's a drop-down list. That's data validation. But there could be data validation even in these cells with numbers, or the blank cells where we can't see. I mean, imagine selecting one of these cells, right-click, clear contents. You can assume it has data validation because the other ones have it, but you can't, there's nothing there. So that could be the case with other cells over here. So we'll use the go-to special. So we hold down the control key, press the letter G, and here is go-to. It's also on the home tab at the top of the ribbon. But go-to and then special, and then we want to select data validation. And we want to say all. So then I press OK, and now it's got all the cells in this sheet that have data validation set up. And then we're just going to go over here, data validation, click it again, and in settings, under allow, instead of list, I'm going to select any value, press OK, and then to double check that there's no more data validation in this sheet, once again I'll open up go to, special, data validation, and this little message here says no cells were found. So I'm just going to undo that step. So we did this part. And now here we go. We've got the data validation drop-downs again. The second part is this: identify cells with invalid data. Now that means if you've got an old selection and you've changed the list to something else, you want to see the ones that are no longer in the list in here. So let's just first of all go to sheet 2. Here's my country list. I'm going to just change this quickly. Formulas, name manager. There's my country. I'm now going to change that to, let's say, 15. So now the list is much shorter. As you can see, it only goes down to here. And so any of the countries that were selected back in sheet 1, any of these that are not from those first 15 would be invalid, because look in the list here. Now there's no India in this short list, and there's no Philippines in this short list. So changing the definition of the list, some of these are now old values. So there's a built-in feature. If we go to data validation, circle invalid data. That's what we want to do. So when I click this, watch what's going to happen down here. You're going to see all these red circles. So all these cells are the ones that have invalid data. And the ones that don't have the circle are still in our shorter list. So that's another thing you can do to identify. Hopefully you don't have this many, but you could use this to identify them. Now, I was playing around earlier. Unfortunately, you can't put a filter on, and I don't know of any way to filter down to those. But if you find a way, please let me know. So two things we've covered here today: remove data validation from all cells using the go-to special, and then go into data validation like that. The other thing is to circle the invalid data. So now I can turn this off. Clear validation circles. I press it again, and you see it highlights the ones that are no longer in the list. So Colombia is here, but France is no longer in this list. So that's how you do it.